Hello, today is Monday, 21st of December, the shortest day in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm looking forward to seeing longer, brighter days starting in January, I guess. Today is also the day when planet Saturn conjuncts or comes together with planet Jupiter in the sign of Aquarius. And this is a phenomenon that's talked about quite a lot on the internet at the moment because it is a once-in-a-lifetime event. So let's see what happens. What can happen after this conjunction? Will things change for the better for us? We'll see. So today's my 26th press-up challenge, and I'm aiming to beat my record of 50. Let's see if we can do it. So I'll start with 30 deep breaths, doing the Wim Hof breathing method. Not quite. 49. So what shall we talk about today? I thought we could talk about the immune system and how important it is to us. Our immune system, our natural defense system, is our first line of defense. I've spoken about it before. If you look after it, it will protect you. How can you look after it? Well, if you eat natural foods, cut back on starchy carbs and junk foods, highly processed foods, that's the first step. Take more vitamin C and vitamin D, because they naturally help your immune system. Exercise regularly. You don't need to join a gym and lift weights and stress out on the treadmill or anything like that. If you did 30 minutes of brisk walk 3 or 4 times a week, that will help, especially when the weather's nice and the sun is out. Get the fresh air, get the exercise. That will help. And of course, you don't want to be stressing yourself out. You can stress yourself out through anxiety and fear. If you keep watching the bad news on TV or listen to the bad news on the radio or read the bad news in the newspaper, that causes you anxiety and eventually stresses you out. And those are the things that can adversely impact your immune system. So if you can, avoid it. News, I've always had the impression that if you needed to know, the news will get to you somehow. And I don't watch the news. I don't particularly listen to the radio. Or if I do listen to the radio, I choose my station that I prefer to listen to. I don't pay attention to the mainstream media anymore. And then what you can also do is try and introduce intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting is not a fad. If you go back to the pre-1970s, the majority of people were eating 3 meals a day. They would perhaps have their breakfast at 7 or 8, have a lunch at about 1 o'clock, and have their last meal of the day by 6 o'clock. So from 6 o'clock in the evening until they had their breakfast took them around 13, 14, 15 hours sometimes. So that period of not eating was a period of fasting. And if you look at the word breakfast, it's 2 words made up of break and fast. So you're effectively breaking your fast when you have your last meal of the day sort of before 6 and have your next meal 14 to 16 hours later. But starting in the 80s, the health guidelines changed and told us that we should be snacking in between. So most people were eating like 5, 6, 7 times a day. And if you look at what's happened to people, to the majority of people, they've got bigger, they've put on more weight, they've become obese, and they've got all sorts of metabolic health issues like diabetes and heart issues and high blood pressure and all sorts of things. And these are things that will not help the individual fight disease because the immune system has been compromised. So try intermittent fasting. Try and delay your breakfast in the morning. In fact, ask yourself this question when after you got ready and you're making yourself a drink. Are you really hungry? Because once you've had your drink, you find that that liquid has filled your stomach to a certain extent and has taken the hunger pangs away. So that would be a good place to start to doing your first fast. Delay your breakfast until lunchtime. And then have non-starchy carbs. Don't have cereals. Have an egg. Fry an egg. Boil an egg. Put lots of butter on it. have a piece of, have a nice beef burger or something. There's lots of things you can do to limit your carb intake. Last week, my husband Bill suggested that instead of having potatoes every night, perhaps I'll alternate it to having maybe potatoes one night and then cabbage or veg another night. So what I did was I bought cauliflower and I mashed it up with some onions, and he thought it tasted a little different, but he didn't realize that they were mashed cauliflower and not mashed potatoes. So there you go. So he's on board with low carb, definitely, for sure. But obviously Christmas is coming and he wants to enjoy Christmas. He likes his Christmas cake and Christmas pudding and things like that. So he'll probably have a few days of festivity, and then he'll go back to his low carb again. So I wish you a nice day, and I'll catch you in a couple of days. Have a great day. Bye now.